Hi, and welcome back to the African Cinema Podcast. I'm your host, Tendai, and this is part 2 of our Senegal series. This is where we'll be tracing the journey of Senegalese cinema from 1980 up until today. From economic collapse and closed theaters to international co-productions and digital platforms, this episode explores how Senegalese filmmakers weathered crises and how a new generation is reclaiming the screen. The 1980s ushered in economic turmoil across West Africa. In Senegal, the government, under pressure from IMF, led structural adjustment policies, which ended up slashing cultural spend. Film production plummeted, and more than 80% of cinemas in Dakar closed. The father of African cinema, Ousmane Sembène, was still active at the time, released Camp de Thiaroye in 1987, a dramatization of the 1944 massacre of African soldiers by the French army. The film was bold, unflinching, and banned in France for years. It was a historical reckoning and a cinematic provocation. He followed this with Guelwaar, made in 1992, tackling themes of foreign aid dependency and religious division. Safi Faye continued working through international support, creating documentaries like Selbe Etat Diators, made in 1983, and Mossane, made in 1996. A lyrical fiction film that explored feminine adolescence, tradition, and desire in the Serere village. But with limited local infrastructure, many filmmakers of this era either left, struggled to fund projects, or worked for foreign broadcasters. Senegalese cinema at this time entered a kind of quiet resistance. Enter the 1990s and early 2000s. The industry existed in fragments, but those fragments mattered. In 1992, Djibril Diop Mambéty returned with Hyènes, his long-awaited follow-up to Toki Boki, based on Durenmat's The Visit. It was a sharp critique of consumerism, corruption, and moral decay. His final film, La Petite Vendeuse de Soleil, made in 1999, was a short but powerful ode to hope, centering a disabled girl who sells newspapers in Dakar. During this period, young filmmakers were also emerging, often outside the traditional system. Mini DV cameras and editing software began enabling independent production. Documentaries grew in popularity, particularly those with NGO or international festival support. Senegalese TV drama also gained traction, with audiences turning to small screens as theaters continued to shut down. The 2010s marked a quiet rebirth thanks to digital filmmaking, diaspora returnees, and international co-productions. Mati Diop, niece of Mambéty, made history in 2019 with Atlantics, the first film by a black woman to compete at Cannes. Set in Dakar, the film blended magical realism and social commentary, following young lovers separated by migration. It won the Grand Prix at Cannes. New platforms like Marodi TV and Senegal 7 began creating Wolof language series that went viral across West Africa and the diaspora. Shows like Maîtresse Diane Homi Marie explored contemporary urban life, gender roles, and class struggles, proving that Senegalese storytelling had a growing home online. Meanwhile, short film festivals and institutions like Cotrage Mi Dakar, launched in 2022 by French filmmaker Ladjilai, began training the next generation of screenwriters and directors. Directors like Angel Diabang, Alassane Sai, and Masao Torre brought bold, diverse narratives to the screen, ranging from female identity to migration and environmental justice. Today, Senegalese cinema is no longer confined to theaters. It lives in WhatsApp groups, YouTube channels, streaming platforms, film labs, and pop-up screenings across the continent. And it's more collaborative than ever. Young filmmakers are blending fiction and documentary, and Afrofuturism, gender politics, and genre experimentation. Festivals like Dakar Court and FESPACO continue to support and showcase Senegalese work internationally. And the complex cinematographic Ousmane Sembène, opened in 2018, is a physical reminder that the screen is still sacred. The lights are back on and the audience is watching. Senegalese cinema was never just about making movies. It was about reclaiming language, reshaping history, and resisting erasure. From Vieira's Camera in Exile to Sembène's working-class epics, from Faye's feminine gaze to Mambéty's surrealism, each filmmaker carried the torch into a new era. Today, a new generation is remixing that legacy. Senegalese cinema isn't just surviving, it's evolving. And the next chapter is already being written. Thanks for listening to the African Cinema Podcast. If you missed part 1, be sure to check it out and do subscribe and share the podcast if African cinema is within your interest. Until next time, ciao.